and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by our superintendent for what seems to be maybe weather-wise a pretty nice week. It's not 100 plus yet.
Yeah, today's nice. Yesterday was nice, but it looks like the end of the week's going to be hot. I know we moved football games to 8. I'm sure they're looking at that for this week, and so pay attention to that. Best news, Lawton High is back in school. Yes, you know, that was one of those things,
right?
When you have older buildings, which we do, they're great buildings. I love, our buildings, but when you have a water line break underground, getting it fixed can sometimes take longer than a couple days, and some of the cleanup and some of those things. But it really was always just a water line. But when it's kind of the whole thing was when the water line busted, we had a pump quit working underneath the auditorium that kept water pumped out of there, like a basement pump people have, a sump pump, and caused water to get high. Well, then the water's high, and in order to get to where the pipe was broke, they turned the water off. But to get in there to fix the pipe and get the water, drain the water, they had to turn the electricity off, because obviously anytime there's any level of water, you're going to start getting into outlets and different plug-ins. And nobody wants to be in water and electricity. They just don't mix very well. So by the time we got the electricity off and got them in there, then obviously we had to call in, experts to make sure it was safe. And they did a little bit of work. And then in the end, with this heat, the smell kind of got bad. And just to make sure we didn't have any issues with mold or anything, we brought in a restoration crew, and they came in and spent some days with those scrubbers, scrubbing the air and cleaning it all out and testing the air. And we had to, as best as people, test the air to make sure that all that was safe. And everything's safe today and everything's working, knock on wood, but we're back in school and all clear from experts that it's a safe place to go, because obviously safety is one of our number one goals. So that'll move to our next topic.
Yes, sir. And in light of some tragic news up north of our friends up there in Midvale and Choctaw, would you like to share what we're doing, at least to give insight for?
Yeah, well, we had a couple incidents that the state of Oklahoma did at athletic events this weekend with kids or young adults. Not sure, because I don't think they've caught either one at either event. Bringing firearms, and in one case, there was a tragedy at Choctaw. And we want to make sure everybody's safe and feels comfortable to drop their kids off, and the high school kids, and come to our games and support their school. So, we'll have our officers there like we always do. And it's one advantage to having your own police force. They know the kids. They know a lot of our adults, so they'll be there. They're going to also have their wands to wave and wave on our parents. And so it might slow down a little bit, but the goal is to have plenty of wands. I think we have 20 in the school district, so there will be plenty of them there. It'll be a fast process getting through the ticket line, but come early if you're worried about it. No backpacks. And like purses and things, they'll wand them and you may have to open them. It's not gonna be like you're gonna dump them out on a table or anything. Right. But just some security things, no different than if you go to an OU football game or an OSU football game or those. Just kind of step up that security a little bit so people can feel safe inside the stadium. That doesn't happen at Lawton, because it's always a scary thing, and we don't want to deal with that. So it'll kind of be there. We're also, our high school kids whose team is playing get in free this year. You have to have your badge, but you'll also have to get a ticket from your administrator, because you're going to have to have attendance. We're not going to let students into games free that aren't coming to school, and we're not going to let students in that have discipline issues, because obviously we don't need trouble. So kids that have been on their best behavior at school and done what they're supposed to do and came to school will get in free. And
just to clarify, because I know
high school only.
High school only.
And only teams playing. Like this week it's Mac and Eisenhower. Lawton kids will not get in free.
Right. And so they'll have to get that ticket from their administrator at their building.
And middle school students have to have a parent with them to get in, as well as elementary students. And that's just a safety deal as well, because in the past sometimes students are just dropped off and they just run around, and you spend all your time corralling them and not enough monitoring other situations. So we have a big crowd. We expect a big crowd. I believe both teams won this weekend, so it should be an exciting game. Very excited. I think MacArthur's young, but they've had some success lately. But I think Eisenhower's coming. From everything I hear, they look a lot better this year than they have, and so I'm excited to go watch the game and watch two teams play. It's always exciting to me. Football season, again, I coached for years. I love football. It's my favorite time of the year, and it's always fun to go to the games. And again, we got OSN that'll carry our games. We're excited about that. They do a really good job of carrying football games home and away. I myself sometimes watch them because you can watch 2 or 3. I can watch all of our teams play because I try to follow all of them.
Well, and we have a radio station, too. I know that was something that had gone away for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But we do have a radio station back for those traveling on the road and still
Or
wanting to
at
listen.
work or something,
Absolutely.
and they have the ability to turn on and listen to a radio, but they can't watch it because they're maybe running a store or whatever. Yes.
Well, in our media programs too that we have at the secondary level, they're picking it up and they're going to be covering some of the games.
Yeah,
for
very
us.
excited that OSN's going to partner with them
Yes.
in some ways and start training those. That's kind of an internship too. They do a good job, and maybe they can get some of our students trained, and some of them can go to work for them someday as camera people or even play-by-play announcers. So
It's fun to watch them as they progress when they
Yes.
started out. And speaking of, from our leadership podcast last year, so we can thank those students from last year about the free tickets because that came up in a discussion.
Yes, they wanted to get in free. They knew other
Yes.
schools did it or other people did it, so they thought that was a good thing. We listen to our students. We've talked about it before. You know, one of the ultimate goals I have as a superintendent is to create opportunities and destroy roadblocks. And I talk to the students about when I get a chance that my 59-year-old opportunities may not be the same as our 16, 17, and 18-year-olds see as opportunities. And so we need to listen to them too because we want to create opportunities for them to be successful. So, you know, went to the OSSBA conference this
Right,
weekend.
yes.
One of the things I heard that goes with when we talk about how we want our kids to graduate is somebody put it even simpler. When you graduate, you should be enrolled in college, employed, going to work, or enlisted in the military. It's kind of the same thing we talk about, the 3 E's, and it's a lot simpler than my long statement. Somebody one-upped me. They taught me. So we're excited about that. And the other thing I talked to a couple of superintendents about there that we're working on is workforce development. We'd like to start partnering with some of our community members and do some workforce development. We had people get honors while we were there.
We did, and congratulations to Mr. Craig Riet at Golden Corral for winning the Share It.
Yeah, the Community Partnership Award, and we're really excited about that because, you know, whenever you get that email that says, hey, if you have anyone in your district that should be nominated as a community partner, you know, you fill out that paperwork, and you know, he was one of the first ones that came to the mind, and when we sat around and talked about it through the years, I think it was 22 years is what they said, since 1998, which would be almost 25 years, I guess. They've opened up the Golden Corral for breakfast, which is September 15th this year, which is our virtual day. But you can go eat breakfast, and that money goes to our foundation, and our foundation then pays for college, they help pay for the fees for college classes. They fund maker spaces, teacher grants, just a lot of things our foundation does for our teachers and students at Lawton Public Schools. So that's really exciting too.
We're very lucky to have that kind of partnership, and there's so many more out there. Every week we're going to try and do a community shout out. So.
And again, our foundation does a great job. Lisa Carson was picked, the state foundation group, Oklahoma Education Excellence Foundation Excellence. They picked 3 foundation leaders or executive directors to come speak on about partnershiping at the School Board Association meeting, and Lisa was picked, and I got to join her, but it was an honor to be one of 3 with Oklahoma City and Metro Tech Career Tech, and so shout out to Lisa Carson. We got a great foundation, we got a great community, we get so much support of our students and teachers at Lawton Public Schools, and that's what we want. You know, we know we got to be partners, and part of that partnership now will be workforce development and start getting students ready to go to work locally, because we don't want our students to move away. If they want to live in Lawton, we want to have good jobs for them where they can make a good living and feel good about themselves. And so, you know, as I told my kids when they were growing up, you don't ever want to go to work. You know, and if you're going to work, it's time to find another job. If it's work, you know, if it's intensive. So you know, that's what we want to make for our students is, when they get out and get a job, it's something they love so much they don't consider it work.
Absolutely. And you also got to see a very special choir there.
Oh, yes. Our children's choir. And I believe that was Miss West
yes,
and Miss
West.
Abraham, one of and they were leading it, and it was awesome. They were just awesome. I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, the third song, people are texting me. The fourth song, they're like, I am so impressed that they have this many songs at that age this early in school. So not only a shout out for how awesome they were, the fact that they could do that many numbers after just a couple of days of school is very, I mean, again, you wouldn't be surprised at the number of superintendents that were texting me about that. So yes,
they did a great job.
And great job. They did it. They represented Lawton well, and they represent a lot of our elementary schools, and so that's exciting when we have a group that represents a lot of our students. So we were excited about them too.
And we have something to remind our families, because this is going to be a long weekend, and the fact that we're off on Monday.
Monday is Labor Day. Yes, our staff, no school. Staff gets it, and it's not a virtual day.
Not a virtual day. Lawton High's had their fill, right?
Yeah, Lawton High's had their full, but it is a no school day. So next week's a 4-day week.
Yes.
So everybody enjoy the 3-day weekend. Looks like it might be hot again, but we will do a podcast Tuesday if everything works out. We plan on still doing that. So especially the first weeks of school, enrollment still, students are still enrolling. If you haven't gotten enrolled, get up and get enrolled and get your paperwork done. And again, you should be getting the paperwork. We talk about that every week, but we're not going to stop. Your free and reduced forms, your impact aid forms, your home language surveys, all the different things we need our parents to fill out for our students, because this is where we get our funding. And one thing new this year is you have to have the FAFSA form for our seniors, and that's going to get more and more enforced for graduation. So if your senior later in the year brings a FAFSA form home, please fill it out, get them your tax information so that they can get those things on file. And
possibly free money. You
yes,
never know.
they also get free money. So we're excited about that.
All right, Mr. Hime, we don't have a guest this week. We will have one hopefully next week and bring back our kids soon enough.
Yes.
We just wanted to get some of them, with Lawton High being out for a couple of weeks. It's their first day back, it feels like.
Yeah.
And so we'll have that in
INFO.
That's it.
At lawtonps.org. That's our email address, info@lawtonps.org. So if you got any questions, if you have someone you'd like to bring on and questions of them, let us know. That's one thing we like to do, is answer questions on the podcast. We want to be informative. And then obviously our website, lawtonps.org. I know Lawton Eisenhower's softball field, they're playing on. They're getting close to starting to lay turf at Lawton High, and MacArthur is days away from being ready to play on, and they are awesome softball fields. Dugouts, fences, backstops, bullpens, and then obviously the turf. So big shout out to our girls. As you know, we're getting real close to putting out for locker rooms, because people know that we need locker rooms for our girls, and that's a big thing that we have, that we're going to build at least 4 locker rooms at every site. And so that's one of our next big things.
We have something right outside our doors.
Oh yeah, the Ag Mech shop coming right up.
Are up.
If you get time, come drive by the Life Ready Center, which is the Old Tomlinson, and look on the I guess that would be the northwest side, and you will find that we're building an ag mechanic shop, which will be for all students, and it could even be part of our workforce development later on.
Well, and the kids, they get to see the progress. It's right outside their door, so every day they're just more excited about coming back and getting in that building soon enough.
So communicate with us, let us know your questions, and we'll try to answer them, and have a great 3-day weekend.
That's it. And you guys, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to our social media and YouTube pages, do so, because there's a lot of great things out there. Until next time, Mr. Hime, enjoy your weekend. You guys stay cool, enjoy the weather until it gets hot.
See you Tuesday.
That's it. Have a great one.